Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR. Today it is Tuesday morning. It's April 27th, 2021. The band they call Meathead, joined by Matthew Thomas, filling in for Linda Kay on a Tuesday morning. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. The ears of the audience, they're just spinning right now because they don't know. They're not used to hearing this nice.
Up is down, left is right.
Exactly. They're not used to hearing this voice on their Tuesday mornings.
That's right. Where they're also going to be not used to hearing what we have to say about Raw today either. That's a little tease to get into the show. But first off, let's talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, collarandelbowbrand.com. The promo code Linda K. That's K-A-Y. 10% off using the Linda K promo code. You could get some of the latest and greatest in wrestling gear. I'm in my collar and elbow mirror hoodie. Matthew, what do you got on today?
I have got on a nice collared maroon shirt, but that is simply because my collar and elbow gear featuring my "Thank You for Wrestling with Us" as well as my my Chad Gaspar shirt is in the laundry right now.
There you go. Okay. Well, we got to build up that collection. So, collarandelbowbrand.com, promo code Linda K, K-A-Y. Matthew Thomas. First off, before we get into the Raw talk and the NXT preview for tonight, there is a little birdie that told us you were the broadcast journalist that we need you to be, and you watched Impact Rebellion on Sunday night.
Of course I did. And before we actually get into the show, I want to say that I wish I know the AEW title as well as the Impact title were on the line the other night, but I wish the streaming rights for all wrestling pay-per-views were on the line as well, because if that was the case, the undisputed champion right now in the last week of April 2021 is Fight TV, without a doubt.
Fight TV, knocking it out of the park, huh?
My experience with Fight compared to Bleacher Report and also compared to what we've seen of Peacock thus far, and by that, I mean not having the ability to pause, rewind, or fast forward, was just light years above both of those services. I started the show probably right as it was going off the air, immediately launched the app on my Roku, hit the buy button, and it was right there for me. No having to wait for a replay to become available. None of that stuff. Fight TV doing a great job of streaming the Impact pay-per-view.
Well, we're going to have to talk to our people. We have to get David the Zohan Hero to talk to our friends, and Damian Nelson to talk to our friends at Fight TV so they can get them to be a sponsor of PWR today, because that was a glowing endorsement right there, my friends.
The only thing that would make it better is if they started accepting Thomas Tender, which you don't know this news, but Thomas Tender, that is my new cryptocurrency. It seems like everybody and their brother has got a cryptocurrency now. You've got one that's got a dog or something on it. You got another one that's got something else. So it's time for Matthew to get into the cryptocurrency game. You heard it
who was ahead of the game, Matthew Thomas?
Who's that?
Cryptocurrency and, currency of their own. Shroot Bucks.
Yeah.
Nah, White Shroot and his Shroot Bucks.
Yeah, I understand that the market value for that's gone up pretty substantially now.
What's the current cash value of a Shroot Buck? 1/1000th of a penny. Also offer you 10 Stanley nickels if you leave me alone. Oh, that was good stuff. But yeah, Matthew Tender, huh?
Yeah, Thomas Tender.
Thomas Tender, okay.
Yeah, it's got a ring to it. Kind of rolls off the tongue.
Thomas Tender, that's right. Well, I'll offer you 10 Stanley nickels. There we go, and they're all wooden.
But overall, I thought it was a good show. The simple fact that I'm watching an Impact pay-per-view in 2021, it makes me happy in regards to the fact that...
Weren't they dead 10 to 15 years ago?
My goodness, and they keep coming back, and they keep coming back. And, what I realized is, my goodness, you don't think of the company as... You still, at least I still think of it as a fairly new company, but my goodness, they've been around for 2 decades now. And you're starting to actually, at least with me, there's starting to be a little bit of a nostalgia buildup in there. And this was a good show. And from top to bottom, it was a well-paced card. And of course, you had the final match that was what so many people bought the show for. They did a really good job of giving you different segments throughout the night with Kenny Omega, Rich Swann, Don Callis, and it was it felt like a big fight feel, and it was the main
Any
event
kids
was
wearing fanny packs in there?
not that I saw on this pay-per-view offering. But overall, good show. A few surprises there with the former Big Cass making his return, and
J.W. Morrissey, right? Or Jay Morrissey.
Yeah, and I think that definitely, if you're not watching Impact, definitely worth tuning in on Thursdays. You've got a night to watch it by itself. It's not competing with any other promotions. And I think that it's definitely going to be worth watching here for a while. I mean, you've got that storyline where they don't have a world title now. So what's that going to do? How do they ultimately get the title back, or do they?
And Moose showed back up on TV right before the pay-per-view as well. So honestly, maybe Moose figures out a way to bring back an old title. Because wasn't that what Moose was carrying around forever too? Until Rich Swann won a unification belt there?
Yeah, that's what he was carrying around. However, that technically, I guess, is Kenny Omega's now, because that was one of the belts that Swann was carrying around.
So Kenny Omega won 2 belts off of Impact?
So Kenny Omega won 2 belts off of Impact, I believe, because I don't think he's carrying around the AAA title, at least in his appearances there. So when it ended last night, he had the AEW title and 2 other belts. So I think he had the Impact title and also the TNA title.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So maybe there's a story there where he drops one of them to give that company back 1 belt, and then they retire the other belt. Who knows?
Very possible.
Okay, so Impact Rebellion. We talked a little bit with Linda yesterday about it. I'm glad you watched it. I did not actually see it, but folks, we've got somebody always paying attention to all that stuff. Now let's pay attention to this Raw review broadcast here. I promised you, teased it a little bit, and said you're about to hear something you haven't heard in a long time about Monday Night Raw. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
I liked it.
I liked a segment or two.
I liked more than I didn't like. There were segments I didn't particularly like, but I liked it. Let's go through the show and let's talk about why this was a show that, now if I get this show for the next month and a half, I'm going to be pretty hot about it, but I liked it. I have complaints, of course, but I liked it. Let's start at the beginning of the show. Let's start off with Braun and Drew going at it one-on-one against each other. They were supposed to be in a tag match against the recently unmasked Mace and T-Bar. What did you think of the promo between Mace and T-Bar?
I think we went a step in the right direction last week where Mace and T-Bar dropped the masks. I think the next step, the next evolution, is to drop the names. It's hard for me to take any wrestler serious with Mace and T-Bar as the names. I think that is a big roadblock for these guys. I wish the actual monikers that they'd previously gone by were introduced.
Dio Madden.
Yep. I wish we actually had a backstory as to why they sided with Retribution, why
they brought into, Mustafa Ali's.
I wish there had been a little bit more of a 180-degree change in character. We didn't necessarily get that. I don't. The dynamic between Drew and Strowman, I'm not digging, and I think a lot of this has to do with where I think Strowman fell in that feud with Shane McMahon. I don't think the feud made Shane look good. I don't think it made Strowman look good. And
you think it brought Strowman down? I think it
brought Strowman down in his perception, in the fact that, man, I still feel like we've got the Strowman that couldn't understand why he wasn't in an Elimination Chamber. I don't think we've had.
That is the Strowman we have.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any type of reset from that. And I think this would have been much more beneficial if you'd have maybe kept Strowman off TV 2-3 weeks, just kind of gotten the whole Shane McMahon thing out of the picture. To me, it seems kind of quick for Strowman to be back in a main event picture. because of where the whole Shane thing was positioned on the card. I don't think coming out of Mania, as decisive as that win was, that Strowman was actually ready to go back into that main event picture. I think some time off of TV would have benefited Strowman. Have him come back
as
a
thing, though. Mm-hmm. Who else is going to do it?
That's the thing.
He's there because they need him.
You're so thin. You are so thin on the Raw roster, and you really went without any NXT call-ups post-Mania this year. And my goodness, they need them because you've got a limited amount of dancing partners on Raw.
Well, let's talk about the call-ups, and let's segue off of that a little bit, and we'll come back to Raw. Just because they're called up doesn't mean they're going into the main event title right away.
Yeah.
So even if there were call-ups, that doesn't mean that they're going to be in that championship mix.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily even think for the main event. I think just for a change of pace and something new in the program. So, I mean, we're falling into a formula of McIntyre, whatever's going on with any incarnation of the Hurt Business we've got right now, the women's title picture, New Day doing something, Miz doing something. It's a very significant cut and pace from week to week.
Okay. I would beg to differ because I thought last night was not all cut and paste. And that's why, like I said, folks, mark the tape. April 27th, 2021, I enjoyed Raw. Now, I also forgot, because he's not wearing all that other stupid stuff that he wore, I forgot how awesome looking Dominik Dijakovic is. Okay? I'm not calling him Mace or T-Bar or whatever the hell his name is. I'm calling him Dominik Dijakovic. I practiced that name. I shouldn't have had to practice. I'm Polish as well, but Dominik Dijakovic.
And if you wanted something simpler, you could just call him Double D or DD or something. You know, you got different ways you can work on that. And I think it's a cool sounding name, man.
Right. I mean, but, his buddy in NXT, where is he? He could be in this mix as well. Keith Lee still on the sidelines, and we haven't seen him in a long time. So, winners of the match, Dominik Dijakovic and Dio Madden. Now, I didn't mock's not the right word, but I made fun of a bit when they unmasked the boys that, Dio Madden looks like a baby face. Put the mask back on. You look more intimidating. This week, listening to him talk, and he didn't say much, but he's got some bass in his voice. His stock went up for me a little bit, just a little bit.
Well, and then mission accomplished. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons we got to hear from him.
Okay, so Damian Priest and A New Day defeat The Miz, Elias, and Jackson Ryker. How were you not entertained by this? This actually was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed the
John Morrison has his name written on the side of his head.
Yeah, it was a good musical performance. I enjoyed that
part. The acoustic version of Hey Hey Hop Hop.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Priest is still a star in the rise. They've got to pick their spots with him. He is now going to get the New Day rub for a little bit.
Yeah.
Them chucking tomatoes at Miz, Morrison, Elias, and Jackson, I thought was pretty funny. But here's where I have a question. I understand that Elias comes with Jackson Ryker. I understand that Miz comes with Morrison. They couldn't find a fourth person to tag up with them. Why do you have to put Johnny Drip Drip on the side again?
Yeah.
What did John Morrison do anybody? What has he done since he's been here?
Well, what's so interesting is we had, 2 weeks ago, we had a little bit of tension between him and the Miz teams when they had the thing with Maurice, and I was intrigued by that. And I'm not lobbying to have them split up or anything, but I like the seeds they were planting there, and I wish we had expanded upon that in the last couple of weeks.
So I was feeling very normal Raw-ish, right? Mm-hmm. Up until Sonya Deville goes to the back door, opens it up, and in walks Charlotte Flair. I thought she was suspended. Shouldn't be in the building. I am interested in this.
Yeah.
Sonya Deville allowing Charlotte Flair to come back in, apologize. She paid a $100,000 fine, apologized to the ref. Charlotte Flair looking amazing, doing the whole holier-than-thou princess thing, and Sonya Deville getting chewed out by Adam Pearce. Now, does Sonya report to Adam Pearce, or are they colleagues?
it's always been presented as their colleagues, as their kind of co-general managers.
Like Shane McMahon brought in Sonya Deville to help Adam Pearce.
Right.
Okay. So I like where this could be going. This is a non-McMahon, Stephanie and Shane McMahon thing coming up, and I absolutely love it.
I like the fact that we've got Charlotte back on TV a week later. That looked like she was potentially being written off for at least a couple of weeks. Right. I think Charlotte is one of the major stars on Raw.
She is now walking and talking like a star too.
Yeah. And she is somebody that the viewer is interested in how that storyline develops week to week. And so I'm glad we got her back.
She's on at the top of the hour as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a week after the whole suspension angle. And, you got to wonder if that was maybe, all right, we need her back on TV next week if it was that type of thing. So whatever the case, glad that she's back on immediately.
Now, I'm indifferent on the Sheamus and Humberto again because it was the same thing from last week. However, Sheamus is still entertaining. I have to ask you this question, too, and this, I don't know why I'm bringing it up in this segment. Do you think somebody was whispering in Adnan's ear? Because he seemed pretty excited tonight, or last night, excuse me.
He's done a remarkable job of transitioning here in the last several weeks. The first week he was on there, I watched it with
Corey and Byron had to carry him.
Yeah, and I listened to it with, different ears because it was somebody new and you're trying to, kind of see how they do. Last week, not so much. This week, I had forgotten that there was a new commentator, and that's saying a lot, and that speaks volumes to the job that he's doing and how natural he's starting to sound.
It'll take time, but I think there's improvement. As long as he doesn't say Jamaican me crazy. Jeff Harvey.
Oh my goodness. But you know what they did with Adam Lee before that whole run was over with, though, they made that work. I mean, they made him a character. He was the GM for a while, wasn't he?
Was Raw. Yeah. Let's talk about Randy Orton and Riddle. RK Bro. This is growing on me fast, and by far the segment of the night. Not only does Riddle now come out with birdies that tweet out of his slippers. This dude, Matthew, I've been saying this on the NXT side that I want somebody that just won't stop chirping, chirp. Yeah. I'm a very stoic person. I didn't know I was getting it with Riddle and Orton.
Oh, you are. And it's a pairing that I don't think any of us saw coming. And this is also something else you're not going to see coming. This is a major announcement right now. I would like to announce that there's a new segment, and there is a new award, a new thing that's going to take place year to year, and that's called Matthew's Matthew to Watch. And Matthew's Matthew to Watch for 2021 is Matthew Riddle.
Matthew Riddle, yeah. Matthew Riddle is the sponsored Matthew of the 2021 season.
Yeah, and I mean because I had a lot of Matthews to pick from across all promotions. And this was a tough decision, but he has done such a phenomenal job here in the last several weeks that I had no choice but to bestow this honor upon him. And it took me 4 months because we're 4 months into 2021. So it was not something that I rushed into, but there's no doubt that this is the Matthew to watch for 2021. And RK Bro is a tag team on the rise.
Dude, he said, let's get some, what kind of Speedos was he going to, like reptile Speedos?
I don't know. And at first, the scooter I thought was, okay, this is kind of gimmicky. The scooter's grown on me exponentially.
Right, because again, what I told you I wanted with Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis maybe was just that little fly buzzing around the head. You literally have this with Matt Riddle on a scooter rotating around you. Bro, we'll go ahead. We'll go get some candies or something. What planet are you from? I'm from planet Earth, bro.
And how great was Riddle's facial expressions when he finally got the tag from Orton to finish the match? I mean, that was
he was screaming, Randy, bro.
Oh, that was outstanding. What a there's a lot of potential here. And let's go back to the fact that this is Orton in basically a babyface role, just a few weeks removed from when he was attempting to murder someone.
Right. And that's the genius of Randy Orton.
Yeah. He set a man on fire back in December, or a creature.
Dude, the first thing he said to Riddle last night when it was like, bro, he's like, and he starts talking, I'm like, I got your Matt, shut up. The finger to the mouth. What did you ever imagine? You know, Randy Orton, the blue chipper. Remember that he gave us those health updates on his shoulder.
Oh yeah.
The young kid that was going so fast and so furious now is the cagey veteran. He was the legend killer. Maybe Matt Riddle becomes the legend killer and kills the legend of Randy Orton.
Who knows? But I like the fact that, you know, he got the win last week. And this is not going to, oh, you upset me and then right into a feud. It is the win, and there's no rematch. They actually, you know, are a tag team now. So I think it makes that rub all the much more significant for Riddle.
Let's talk the 6-woman tag. Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, all the women's gold on one team, taking on the team of Asuka, Lana, and Naomi. I liked the fact that finally, and Linda Kay and I have been talking about this a bunch, finally the women's tag team champions don't look like a bunch of punks. They come out strong.
Yeah, no, they picked up the win last night. I don't like the feud in the interaction with Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. I think that is an unneeded element that's just not a very captivating story, but I think they are on the right track with them getting the win.
Charlotte defeats Mandy Rose, who's just like 4 months ago had that short bob haircut, and now she's got hair down to her backside. So hopefully there's never a move where they're going to have to maybe pull hair because she's going to lose her extensions real quick. And this was heel Sonya Deville in a perfect spot, I thought, putting her, one of the great feuds they had in the women's side last year on SmackDown, her mortal enemy, Mandy Rose, in a match against Charlotte. I really thought that was perfect.
Yeah, and Sonya involved in active storylines and being someone who's featured in storylines, I think makes sense. Her getting more screen time is a good thing.
Yeah, she's a star, and I said that last year. Unfortunately, she had to take time off for what happened in her personal life, but she's a star and she belongs on TV. Main event was Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. This could have went one of a couple ways. They whisper in the ear, Braun Strowman, if you eliminate Drew McIntyre, we'll give you the match instead. But the match was, if Braun wins, he gets inserted into the match at WrestleMania Backlash and becomes a 3-way. I thought that they would help Drew win to keep Braun out of that and make it a one-on-one, but you know what? It failed. It is now a 3-way. And to be honest, this could also go one of two ways. The title match at WrestleMania Backlash can either be you take the belt off Bobby and give it to somebody else without making Bobby look bad. Braun could pin Drew or Drew could pin Braun. Or you make Bobby even stronger by outlasting these two monsters.
This, to me, seems like a sensible post-WrestleMania type of feud here because you're going into a 3-way. There's a lot of angles that you can play coming out of it. I think the addition of Braun, to me, makes it much more likely that the title's not switching hands at the pay-per-view. I think you're more likely to get a Braun Drew program and then potentially a Braun Lashley program, which I think out of what I just said concerning Braun, I think there is money in a Braun Lashley program one-on-one. And I don't think we're necessarily right there right now, but I think a few months down the road that could make sense. So I think the addition of Braun to the main event means it's more likely we're probably going to have a lengthy Lashley title run, which I think is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And ideally, what I want to see out of this is for them to come to terms and get something worked out, even if it's just a one-off pay-per-view match where they can get Lesnar back and you can finally do Lashley Lesnar
Saudi Arabia is apparently on the table.
While Lashley is the champion. Yeah. While Lashley is the champion and have the stakes high for that, that is the money match. And I think it would mean more if you get there during a lengthy Lashley title run. And I mean, that's ideally what I want to see at SummerSlam. I, of course, would prefer it in SummerSlam versus Saudi Arabia because you're going to have it in the States, most likely barring something unforeseen. And the way it's looking now, you're going to have it in front of fans. And my goodness, I would like to think by August, you can put, you can put more people in the building than you had at WrestleMania.
Okay. Well, that's out there. And that could be the thing that legitimizes Bobby Lashley. Not that he's not legitimate already, but that really cements Bobby Lashley's run. He looks the champion. He looks the part. So, like I said, I could see that going a couple ways. Let's talk about NXT real quick tonight before we get going. Adam Cole, big interview. And we're going to see probably a new direction from Adam Cole because last week we had Cool Hand Kyle coming out, making fun with Cameron Grimes. But now we hear from Adam Cole. Does this feud continue, or do they go in their own direction?
I don't know. There's no title involved in this, so the title rematch is not happening. I'm good with it being done. Give me something different for both guys. Not that I'm going to be disappointed in seeing these guys wrestle again. Yeah. That's not going to happen, but I think just for freshness, something different for both guys would be beneficial.
Well, tonight, NXT goes to the moon. And if it's not on, I'm going to tell you to kiss my grits. All right, I got my 3 Cameron Grimes lines in.
Well, and we also hopefully will get some further development with the Dexter Lumis storyline.
Yeah, Dexter Lumis. We need more Dexter Lumis. We need more Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell. We also need more L.A. Knight. Yeah.
And what you also need is you need your champion back on TV.
Karrion Kross. Is he still working with Finn Balor, or is Karrion Kross moving on to Kyle O'Reilly?
Talking about call-ups, man, I would not be surprised at all for Finn Balor to head back to the main roster.
Yeah, I think Finn Balor's really done his job. He's gotten it done. He learned how to hit the curveball, and it's time to come home.
And, hey, let's say that you've got the title on Lashley after Backlash, and you need somebody else to get us to SummerSlam. I mean, I think of Finn Balor, both sides of the tracks, Finn Balor Lashley or Finn Balor Roman Reigns, I think is a match that would interest a lot of people. Even if you're going into it thinking, okay,
remember, Finn Balor is going to be the one that has to make all the movement in those matches. So.
Yeah. And I like that. I like a Balor Lashley match. Well, I like it in both cases. I think that those are the best matches, especially for Reigns, that I've seen Reigns wrestle is when he's got to go up against somebody where there's a lot of movement. I think that his style complements that pretty dramatically.
I think it'd be fun to watch a Balor-Lesnar match. I don't know that that's going to happen. There's way too big a size difference. I understand the David and Goliath theory, the Rey Mysterio versus, the Big Show, that kind of deal. But I really do think that Finn Balor and Lesnar, while it'd be fun, I don't know if that's going to be the route.
And remember, we got it not too long ago, though. We got it a couple of years ago because that's when Balor, made the case for, okay, that's my Universal title. I never got a title shot. And it was a pretty solid match. And they built it to the point that, you thought Lesnar was going to retain, but there was enough of a doubt in your mind that, it made the buy-in and that suspension of disbelief interesting.
Yeah, took us to the moon. All right. So that is Tuesday morning. It is April 27th, and that is Matthew Thomas, who has given you his Matthew for the 2021 season. Matthew to watch, I think is what you said.
Matthew to watch.
Okay, all right. Again, folks, I'd like to... Matthew, by the way, I didn't hear from you. You know what? We were going to wrap it up, but I got to ask you one more thing for this Tuesday morning before we go. Your thoughts on the SNE network and the coronation of the man they call Meathead as the 2020-2021 PWR draft winner.
Well, it was a very dubious honor. Congratulations on that. Congratulations.
Did you see who came out to help me out after I was going to be screwed?
You know, and that's what I was very impressed with, was not only was last year's draft entertaining to watch, it came down to the wire. We actually had a surprise run-in at the very last moment. And I'm just glad that got settled, because there was a lot of back and forth. You go back and you listen to our back catalog, you have a lot of shows where we're reviewing AEW and you're talking about the retired Christopher Daniels. There was a lot of stuff just kind of flying under the surface there with that very controversial move that was made, back right around the Rumble. And I think it really set the record straight for a lot of people, especially Christopher Daniels, because if you listen to a certain colleague of ours, he's going around telling people that this guy's retired, okay?
Yeah.
And Christopher Daniels, he set that straight himself. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. And he also made the comment that he most likely plans to cease to exist in the ring, to pass away in the ring, which I think is a hot news item right there in and of itself. And congratulations. And congratulations on you two for going the extra mile, going straight to the authority, to the horse's mouth, to get that information, not leading it up, not leaving it up to just people to speculate or taking somebody's word. No, you went to the man himself. You went to the man himself. You got that exclusive interview right there. And it really just put that period, that exclamation point on things. So we've got about a year to prepare now for your coronation in Dallas next year.
That's right. Thank you to FAC Daniels at Twitter.com. The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, laying it out. Christopher, it was a compliment, not a insult. I am the man they call Meathead. For Matthew Thomas, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.